At Dave Cooper Live, we connect the industry leaders in the architectural, engineering, and construction space with the people, the products, and the processes to help them build it better. Welcome, everybody, to Dave Cooper Live. What if the future of construction wasn't just being built on site, but taught in the classroom? What happens when the next generation of builders starts thinking outside the box? Today, we're live from Appalachian State University with Dr. Azu, where students in the Sustainable Technology and Built Environment program are doing more than studying construction. They're creating this. In this classroom, the focus is on the future, exploring how modular construction, mass timber, two of the most innovative building methods today, can come together to create smarter, more sustainable, and more efficient structures. From design thinking to real-world problem solving, these students are learning how to build it better, and they're doing it with a mindset that challenges the status quo. Stay with us as we dive into this program, meet the students, and spotlight the emerging ideas that could reshape the way we build tomorrow. But we couldn't do all or any of this without all of our supporting members. So a big shout out to Cobalt Creed. They service builders, developers, prefab home builders, and manufacturers, allowing them to achieve the highest level of comfort, indoor air quality, and low energy costs from their HVAC systems installed for their projects and their customers. Their approach is centered around the Unico system, a small duct, high velocity, central heating and cooling system. And we also need to thank these supporting members as well. We'll be right back. CombiLift is the largest global manufacturer of multi-directional forklifts and straddle carriers, a leader in long load handling solutions, offering a free warehouse and site optimization design service. CombiLift helps companies of all sizes and from every industry maximize the capacity, safety, and efficiency of their warehouse and storage facilities. A big thank you to Paul Short and the team at CombiLift for helping us all to build it better. Visit them at combilift.com. Ready to scale up your offsite construction business? Introducing 4A Constructs, your solution to finding skilled labor for offsite manufacturing. Say goodbye to the headache of recruiting a skilled workforce with hand-selected certified tradesmen that are expertly trained and managed for offsite manufacturing, set crews, and finish crews, ensuring maximum productivity and safety. Unlock the future of skilled workforce development for all of your offsite construction needs. Visit them at 4aconstructs.com. All right. A big thank you to all of our supporting members that are out there, and also a big thank you to all of the supporting members that you see scrolling across the ticker below. We cannot bring you all these informative conversations without the support of all of you out there helping us to bring you better ways to build the people, the processes, and the products, and today the universities that are developing the next skilled trades for our workforce. All right, well, without further ado, let's hop onto it. Bring Dr. Arzu and the students onto the show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing today?
Doing pretty well. How are you?
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, doing great. This is awesome. So I'm going to put you full screen here for a minute so everybody can see you. So Dr. Arzu, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, what your background is, how this program got started, and then take a moment to introduce the students that we're going to be speaking with today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dave. I'm going to start very quick by myself. I'm going to hand the microphone to other people to go over all the story of the students here. My name is Arzu. I grew up in Middle East, Tehran. My dad is a retired architect. There's a quote from him that I grabbed: "If you design, you have to know how to build it." So then it led me more toward the construction field. And then as I grow into my career planning, and I end up doing PhD, the University of Florida construction management program, one of the top construction schools in the country. And then one of the other things I would say, again, I quote from my dad, is that think of having the structure exposed. And before I become a timber or wood fan, I was a concrete fan. And I was like, Le Corbusier, that had all the structures exposed. And how did they do and then, build the structure exposed without putting any finishes on top of it? So that was the initial thought that led me to the mass timber world. And then I learned about wood innovation grants governed and managed by USDA Forest Service, where I learned about this grant opportunity that's helped with promoting use of mass timber, low-grade wood utilization in particular, and I would say that they also promote wood utilization in underrepresented region like the whole Appalachian. And they really love the idea of doing like a mock-up planning of using mass timber and modular construction at the school level. And at the same time, we can promote this for helping the industry, learning the workforce development, future project manager, how to create a mock-up in a school lab that they can use it as an example for a prefab setting. So this is the whole thing that you can see in my background. This happened indoor, and there's nothing we do outside. And you can see that some of the detailing and then the specification is for inside out planning that's used to work for the lab, or I would say indoor setting, not the site build. So about our program, we are famous about hands-on experience, and I can tell you the Solar Decathlon. I mean, I have two students from Solar Decathlon winners from 2 years ago here, and this is a tradition of our program, Building Science and Sustainable Technology and the Built Environment Department. That every single time that we submitted I would say a project in the program, we got a place. So traditionally, hands-on experience, engaging the construction activities in the classroom, having the tools that we use with building information tools, design tools, incorporating them within the class. This is, I would say, kind of tradition that I picked in the program, and I'm honored to be here as a faculty of the program and the department and Appalachian State University. So I'm going to hand this to Jonas Scott, Evan, and the rest of the team.
Hey, all, my name is Jonas. I'm a senior here in the construction management program. It's been a good time, and I've learned a lot the last few years.
Hey, my name is Evan Hutchison. I'm double majoring in architectural technology and construction management. I'm also a senior. Jonas and I are actually both Solar Decathlon winners, so we learned a lot from that, working in the same warehouse, and it's been a pleasure working in the same warehouse doing this project as well.
My name is Dylan Ramsey. I'm a senior here at App State, and I'm studying construction management. We got a pretty cool group of people here, so I'm super excited to show this off.
My name is Ethan Whitty, and I'm also a senior construction management student, and I lead the Builders Association here on campus.
Well, listen, congratulations to all of you, Dr. Azu, for getting this program off the ground. For the rest of you, making it through the first 3 years into your senior last year of school. Maybe for some of you, maybe some of you are going to go on from there. And solar decathlon winners, that's awesome. So congratulations on that. Clearly, there's a smart group of folks working with you, Doc.
Well, there's a big group back in the other room working on their scheduling. They have
Yeah.
the assignment due tonight, so they work on their scheduling and estimating.
Sure.
So yeah, so this group is representing the student body of 31. And also, let me introduce my colleague. I want to make sure that I do.
Hello.
Dr. Ben Sanchez.
Yeah, behind the cameras, my name is Benjamin Sanchez, and I am co-teaching this course with Dr. Isaac.
Yeah, and Doctor, what is your background?
My background is in this concept that we call building information modeling, and specifically in the concept of disassembly planning by using this type of technologies. And when we are speaking about modular buildings, there are all of these concepts merged together that are designed for disassembly, designed for assembly, designed for adaptability and reuse as well.
Yeah. So let me start off with a simple question before we get into what the structure is that you've developed there. You know, what is the primary focus materials being used for your builds? And also, you know, you just mentioned, you know, BIM, right? Information building and I can't even get it right. What's BIM stand for? Building
information modeling.
Yeah, building information modeling. I can't believe I lost my mind on that one. But with that, are the students also learning how to work in BIM, design in BIM, and then take the BIM process and bring it into the production side of
I
things?
will let them to speak about it. Yeah. What did you learn?
So yeah, actually, App State's program is really great, especially for architecture students, but also construction management. They put us through a lot of building information modeling programs like Revit and AutoCAD. We've definitely used a lot in this class here. Dr. Sanchez has put us through a lot of different and frankly new stuff that we hadn't really learned in the last 3 years. So that was really interesting to get more into the nitty gritty of how to estimate time and cost of projects instead of just putting walls together. But it's been a really fascinating process.
Yeah, no, that's great. And do you learn that? Do you learn BIM in the beginning of the program, or are you learning it and using it throughout the program?
I'd say both. We start out in probably our sophomore year, getting really deep into those programs, and then every semester we're learning more.
Got it.
And in this particular class, they utilize it for prefab. You know, for example, the components of the mock-up that you see in the back of us. It's like, you know, we plan that, like, what would be the size of the wall panels. So, you know, how many pieces that we need to have. You know, that's like exactly the detail of the number of parts, and, you know, start with framing, and then, you know, putting the sheet rock on, gypsum boards on it, and then we have the base, the CLT base, and then put the walls. So these are like the steps that usually happens in the factory, and we try to kind of mock up a prefab, I would say, manufacturing process in here. So it was quite different from, you know, the site build, the schedule and site build procedure.
Yeah, for sure. Just a show of hands from the students. How many of you have experience actually being site builders out in the job site, in the mud, on the cold, icy sill plates?
I think,
yeah. Now, show of hands. Show of hands. A thumbs up if you like site built better than offsite, or maybe it's a thumbs up if you like offsite construction better than onsite construction.
Put it in the middle.
Yeah.
Kind of in the middle, right? There's the best of both worlds for sure. Well, perfect. So walk me through the idea of the course, Doctor. You know, explain to us, you know, because you have the hands-on training, you have the information modeling training. What is the overall purpose of what you're doing there and for these students, and how are they going to take this out into the real world?
I would say the journey started with the grants supported by USDA, we call Wood Innovation Grant. And their focus is to I would say educate the future generation of construction professionals to be able to utilize the wood product, forest product. You know, mass timber is the primary, but we also, you can see that we are using installation from Timber HB that's, you know, fiber based wood fiber based insulation. So that's the whole idea of the. So when I started writing the proposal for the grant, one goal set for workforce development, and of course in our program, the 4 years construction management track, the program, it's looking at I would say educating future project manager, but also we need to have training in terms of hands-on, because if these folks are going to manage a team, a crew that they're going to build a project, they need to know how to do it their own. So that's the whole mindset. And then the other side of the lab, we have a wood lab. I would say the freshman and sophomore year, they learn how to work with timber lumber framing. But this using CLT is a new addition. And it came from that particular program. And learning how does it change in terms of the structural capacity of the building, and how does it change in terms of fastening and building the parts together. And these are the things that we use it in specific with prefab technology. So we all know that mass timber is a commercial material, and many companies have used it in commercial setting, multi-story, high-rise. But in this particular course, we focused on volumetric modular units, and 2 scenarios, one for a bathroom and one for a living room, and where we are able to leave the living room, the ceiling of the living room open. And that's where you can find the nature inside your home.
So when you say the ceiling of the living room open, you mean like a vaulted ceiling?
Exposed, yeah, exposed. There's no dropped ceiling like suspended drywalls. It's all exposed. Evan, do you want to go around and show us the other side? So, and then, anybody wants to add anything? What you captured? This is what I had planned, and let's see what's the perspective of the students.
Yeah, well, everything about this project, it's a real study on how can we build more efficiently and using materials that also have a huge focus on embodied carbon. That's one of the biggest factors of the mass timber that we're able to reduce the amount of steel and concrete that we're using in our buildings. And so they're really fantastic for high-rise buildings where you can limit the amount of concrete you're using to just the cores, where they're often double as elevator shafts, and then the foundation as well. And so you're able to bring that embodied carbon down so much because wood is a storing material. As the tree grows, it's absorbing carbon from the atmosphere, and then you're actually basically creating a giant carbon sink or carbon battery within your building, which is really, really cool. And then they also do really well for fire ratings. Everything is still 2-hour fire rated, and it's a consistent char and fire depth. And so it's actually way easier to calculate as people are able to escape the building, whereas steel deforms and cracks. CLT will burn at a consistent rate. So in a lot of ways, there's some safety factors there as well. And then you're seeing the same thing, even in our use of Timber HP as our bat. Timber HP, we're really excited about this product. It's the first manufacturer of fiber insulation, wood fiber insulation within the U.S. It's really popular in Europe, but it's just come into the U.S. in the last few years. Once again, it's that carbon storing, so truly carbon negative material. And the idea is, we're always talking about net zero energy buildings. Can we build a net zero carbon building? That's where everything is moving towards. And one of the best ways to do that really is with prefabricated construction. You're kind of hitting a win-win-win, right? Where you're able to reduce the amount of carbon you're using. You're able to reduce the overall construction costs, making it more affordable. And then you're also able to reduce the timing of things. And we're in an environment and an economy today when we're shortage of housing. There's so much of that. Being able to build faster, and not just faster in terms of cheaper, but also increase efficiency and increase quality all at the same time. Sometimes you're looking at these numbers and it's like, all right, is this too good to be true? But you're able to see actually this can be done, and this is a really great way to actually accomplish these goals.
Yeah, it is for sure. Why CLT over traditional framing? Does the CLT help with those carbon credits even more than a traditional frame structure?
Yeah, it does. I mean, you're also increasing the amount of wood, but one of the biggest impacts of this,
It's faster.
yeah, it's faster. So
Much
you're able to
faster.
reduce your labor costs. So you're able
Right.
to drop those CLTs in real fast, and you can install floor within a few days. And then as well, you're only able to go to 5 stories with a wood building. With CLT, as far as I understand, they've gone up to 30 or more stories.
Right.
I know the Ascent
Yep.
Tower up, I can't remember what the city that's in right now, but it's the tallest CLT frame building
That's in
the U.S.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, thank you, Wisconsin. So you're able to just build more and build larger buildings with these wood.
So in terms of, I can add to what Jonas is saying. I presented last week at Board of Modular. Where the fact that CLT comes with 3 times faster delivery and installation than framing the floor system. Usually modular factory, they use floor joist and floor trusses, and of course on the ceiling they do ceiling joist.
Right.
The time that they require to install the CLT is 3 times faster. So its time is shorter. The lagging time is less, and then they can save a lot of time in the factory while doing CLT. There are some I would say questions about the weight. With 10, I can add that 10-inch floor system, the space is equal to 3.5-inch CLT plank in terms of the weight.
So you're not really adding that much weight then. It's just swapping out material.
Yeah, it's going to be marginal.
Mhm.
Because the floor system, especially for the big boxes, they usually use 10-inch floor joist, and that's not I would say that's heavy.
Yeah, for sure. And then what is the R value of the CLT? What kind of R value does it give you?
The R value, it's not something we can leverage upon. We definitely need to have rigid insulation on top of it, and then you see, because we are not using on the walls, they're all wall cavity lightwood frame, 16 inches on center. So on top of this, there are some companies that they use double insulation, rigid insulation on the top.
Yep.
To make it, more, especially if they do passive house, right, Jonas? Yeah. And for passive house, this is not enough. And then the spacing that we have, like with 7 inches, 7.25 inch, the beam, that space they can use also adding additional insulation for the R value of the floor, and of course the top roof, which comes with like rigid insulation.
Right,
You
for
see
sure.
here, you can see in the Evan is giving us a tour on the top.
I see.
That's the top module. You make a short top module on the top that shows that how the connection works, and that's pretty much that sits in another module sits on top of the CLT ceiling. So this is more for like commercial modular construction.
Now, will you leave that CLT exposed, or will you cover it up like they do in Europe?
This is it. This is final.
Yeah. I know it's beautiful, right? It almost blows my mind when they cover up that beautiful wood over in Europe, but they do a lot of times, but they've been using it for a long time. I guess it's like us having small rooms and big rooms in houses through the years. You switch it up. So with that said, the other two are standing there awfully quiet. Let's hear a little bit from them on what they're thinking of the program. And I also want to know a little bit about, like, what are your goals to take this information, and where do you want to work? Like, what's your goal once you leave this and graduate?
Yeah, those are great questions, and Jonas put it all very well. I'd say that one of the coolest parts about learning this project is just how you can use CLT paneling to create structurally sound buildings. I didn't realize you could replace the CLT paneling in that way. As far as the entire program and looking for a career afterwards, I'm looking to go into housing, environmentally sound buildings that are really not a large impact on the environment. That's what I care about. That's the internship I'm looking for. Is there any other questions that you want from me from that?
Well, listen, so when you get out, one of the things I love to do on this show is, let people know that, hey, this opportunity exists for all of you out there. There are so many people needed in our space today, right? The housing problem is enormous, not just here in the United States, but around the world. So I think the opportunity for what you're doing is so immense that you can almost write your own ticket if people know you exist, right? So when I say that, it's just because most schools and universities, when students graduate, they're typically 5 years behind what's truly happening in the field with innovation. And here you are, not only up to date on the innovation, you're helping create new innovation and new ideas to bring to, a developer, a builder, another manufacturer, or somebody looking to get into this space. So would you guys feel pretty confident when you came out that you could help a company actually get organized in a way where they could make the switch from traditional site built, or maybe doing a hybrid approach where you're doing traditional site and CLT or modular.
Absolutely. I'd be very glad to be able to help any company build
Yeah.
something like this. This is really cool stuff.
Right, right. So why don't you hand the mic over? I'm sorry, I don't remember, in the yellow shirt. I don't think we got to speak.
So one of the things I really liked going back to the program, and you had asked about our experience, and I know Dylan had talked about it, was sustainability is at the forefront of this program. You know, when I started back in fall of 2021, one of my first classes was a framing class, and it talked about sustainability. And throughout the, you know, many courses we take, that's what we strive for. And I mentioned earlier that I lead the Student Builder Association here on campus, and so we gather whether it's local companies or more regional companies to come speak every Tuesday, and all of them have the focus on sustainability, and which I like. And so really great companies, and I think that a lot of them are leaning more towards the approach of where we need to step in and do something to build more sustainable. And I just think this program, it does a really good job of preaching sustainability, and so it's been a great experience for me, and then for many others too.
Yeah. How has this program prepared you, right, to actually go out into the world and be prepared to bring emerging technologies to new companies, new builders, new developers?
I mean, they offer a lot of classes here, architecture, and I know they offer an emerging construction technology class, but a lot of the classes, they talk about the on-site building, but they also incorporate different technologies, VR. So they really show you the whole holistic view of building. And hopefully that answers your question. I'm sorry if it doesn't, but yeah.
So many of our classes here are super project based. And with projects, it really forces you to be the one doing the thinking. It's not just an assignment where you have this many values and this many points and you got to get this score. Project really forces you to be creative. And a lot of these projects can be entire semesters long projects. And so I think more than anything that the school has taught us, more than we've learned the project and scheduling. You learn how to use Revit and CAD. You learn how to find structural loads. But more than all those pieces, it's teaching us how to think for ourselves and think outside the box and use the elements that we have, and how can you apply this to a new way. So for example, in our building science class, we have an entire class just devoted to designing a building for certain climate zones. And so your semesters, you'll be given a climate zone, and your project over the course of this is to design a building and design a wall system, a roof system, a floor system specifically for the envelope that meets those requirements, goes above those requirements, and to be creative in the way you do it. So for example, learning how to use GPS over EPS, like graphite infused polystyrene, which doesn't thermally degrade like other installations. Or again, like the solar decathlon competition. There's lots of competitions that the school offers that we have teams for, but one that we've gotten a chance to do is the solar decathlon competition. And I'm just finishing up my third year of doing that. And it has just been an incredible experience where every single year we've gotten to design a net zero home and then present that net zero home. And then last year, our project actually got picked up by a local nonprofit in the area. And it was a retrofit for a building. And that retrofit actually just got built. So you can our design actually got used and you can actually walk into it. And now we're currently working with that nonprofit again and creating a flag lot that's behind that house. And we're actually, in 2 days, we're presenting the plans to them and the project. And we're going to hand over all the plans to them. And they're going to actually use that as a starting off point to go ahead and build that secondary home in the back lot. And so these homes that we're designing and building, they go beyond just the classroom. They actually have a community impact. And these homes, we built them to last over 100 years. So to see that and to be excited about that and realize, oh, no, this school is so focused on actually doing something that matters and actually having a practical output. And I think that's been huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. So DFMA, raise your hands. You guys all familiar with the term DFMA, Design for Manufacturing and Assembling? Have you heard that, right? I'm sure you have if you're in that school. And constructability is, kind of a new word that is being taught out there. How is knowing how to build influence how you design and vice versa, right? Because now you're getting into where you're building a digital twin and then you're physically building it on site. Walk me through how the DFMA process of this and how the build influences knowing how to design.
So as the only actual architecture student here, I think this is one of the things I love to preach about this program is that we actually know how to put a wall section together. And I don't want to diss any other programs, but there's a lot more of the artistic value in a lot more, especially accredited programs. But here, you actually know what is going into these walls. You know how to fasten them. You know how to put them up. So I think that's a really integral part of how we can progress in our designs, in the sustainability aspects of those designs, especially because you can't really design something if you don't know how it's going to stand. And I think that's something huge that this department really does well.
Yeah, and I mean that leans back to the collaborative mock-up that you have in the back, right? You designed it and then you build it, and now you can test it and understand what worked, what didn't work. I'm sure it went 100% perfect. There was probably no issues whatsoever just by talking to you guys.
We did not have any redo job here. All the sizes that because we used Revit to do all the components.
Yep.
About shop drawings, and then once we have the walls set up there, and then the height of the walls, and then we want to place the ceiling on the top. That was it. Just one cut, one board for each panel, and that was it.
Would there be anything you'd change on that mock-up that you did based on what you learned going through this process? Or are you already thinking about tweaking it?
A little bit of change.
Yeah.
What did we change?
Oh, the wall.
The plumbing.
The long wall. Split in half.
Oh,
For-
the long. Okay, so we did have here in the behind Evan and Jonas. This was like 8-foot long wall, but because of prefab, we decided to have all the walls 4x8. So for that reason, we split it to 2, and then we end up having all walls 4x8 to be able to set it as like prefab wall system. But we know that some modular factories, they do it per width and then the length of the modules. But another reason was that if we want to set up some like reconfigurable models, so that could also be delivered like a flat pack, all the panels better to be in reduce the variation and comes with the same size as much as we can. So that's the idea behind it, to come with less variation, more repetition.
Got it. So with that said, I don't know if Evan still has that camera. It'd be good to take just another walkthrough, and maybe one of the students could walk us through everything we're seeing on that wall. We saw the CLT, we see the wall studding, and the bracing. Is it 16 on center? Is it 24 on center? Maybe you guys could give us a little bit of a demonstration of exactly what you have built there, if you don't mind.
Well, the spacing is 16. Ethan worked on another Ethan here. Ethan Taylor worked on the installation today.
Yeah.
And he did an amazing job putting them on. In terms of, what else did you ask, Dave?
Yeah, just like the wall spacing. Walk us through how the design is done. I see the
Everyone is
CLT.
giving us a tour on the other side. So you see on the left side is the bathroom.
Yep.
Model, on the right side. So in the bathroom, we need to have the drop ceiling to put the fan, and of course, the running the water pipes to connect it to whenever it goes to the water heater. And then on the right side, you see the room scenario. The ceiling is open, and we did not cover that middle wall because of it's a little space, and we wanted to have more exposure to what we're doing, so we didn't cover that. So technically, it has to be covered, but here it's not. And then the insulation comes after we erect the wall. So then we put the insulation at the end, exactly like what the modular builders in the factory do. And then if you go a little on the bottom, even you can see that the CLT is placing on double beam, and then we screwed it to the deck of the trailer. So we hold it that way, and we're gonna cover it with sheeting at the end, and then hold it into place. We want to put this on the road, going to different schools, showing them, because this is not, we want to think more outside of the averaging, and help other schools also use this mock-up to learn how I would say a prefabricated hybrid CLT and dimensional lumber look like.
Do the students also learn the weight loads for picking with a crane and setting, and what that process would be like?
No, that's something we will develop in the future in terms of an installation of the box. So we did not have any crane here. So then because of that, we actually perform all the construction on the trailer so that we wouldn't have a problem lifting. But that's a whole, I would say, whole topic to look into.
It is. Hey, maybe we can help you find somebody to sponsor a crane,
Wonderful.
for that time of the year.
A sponsor, I need to mention a few of our
Go
wonderful sponsors. Jordan Lumber give us a big donation of the lumber boards, and the Smart Lamb, the structural, they gave us the Smart Lamb. We use the Smart Lamb, actually CLT, which is 4-inch thick. That's what we use for the base and the ceiling. And also Simpson strong tie screws to connect the walls to the base and connect the walls to the ceiling. Is that all? Did I mention any other? And of course, I should mention that the support of the department. There's a lot of parts that we bought from the department budget. Yeah, that's a big portion of the whole thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, it's educational, and it takes a lot of resources to actually create something new and come up with a new program and really get something developed to work in that program. So most of you all that are in here are graduating this year, I guess. Are you seniors, right? Is it over and it's time to actually earn a living?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, well, that is awesome. Anything that we can do to help you, right? Don't hesitate just because you see me on camera here. I would love to make sure the world knows that there's opportunities out there for them to hire, people that are trained already, or at least have some good training, whether it's for a new company looking to get into this type of construction, or it's an existing one out there that needs to up their game because they've fallen behind because they're so busy just building all the time. I think is awesome. Dr. Arzu, is there anything that we didn't touch on that you would like to put out there to everybody?
Well, there's one thing that's, because of this whole idea came from the Wood Innovation Grant. They ask us to mention this statement in any presentation. If you let me to read their statement.
Sure.
The work upon which this project is based was funded in whole or in part through a grant awarded by the USDA Forest Service Wood Innovation, grant number 2023 DG 1108317150215. In accordance with federal law and U.S. Department of Agriculture policy, this institution is prohibited from discriminating on the basis of race, color, national origin, religion, sex, disability, age, marital status, family, parental status, income delivered from a public assistance program, political beliefs, or reprisal or retaliation for prior civil rights activity. And our class, I can say that this is the first design, integration of design construction for prefab and manufacturing in the country. And this is especially for the 4-year program, CM topic. And, this is, I would say, this is a starting point. There's a lot we can do with the future classes. These folks here are going to be the future project managers, helping us to develop our future plans. And Ben, do you want to add anything?
I'm fine now.
Okay. Anybody want to add anything?
How about, where's Evan at? Evan, raise your hand so everybody knows all the fabulous camera work you were doing behind the scenes there. You definitely, if you want to travel with me.
Sorry, there's one other thing I need to mention.
Yeah.
The whole idea of using CLT in hybrid modular.
Yeah.
It was me and friend of mine, Greg Sladisky, who is in prefab industry for decades, and he is also one of our advisory boards. I should also mention the advisory board. Dr. Pat Layton from Clemson University, and Dr. Wei-Chen Pang, and Jack Jordan from Jordan Lumber. He's part of them. Dr. Robert Reese from University of Florida helping us on the LCA analysis. So we have a lot other people in the scene advisory board, MBI also involved in that advisory board, and NC Forestry. So I would also like to thank my entire class. This is a group representation of I would say 31 students, and my graduate student Michael, who is also working on the embodied carbon assessment of the whole project.
Well, listen, it's going to take an entire army to build the amount of homes we need to build to get people off the street, right? And to make them affordable so you guys can afford to buy a house one day, right? Even my daughters, they're just getting ready to go to college. They can't afford a house. So there's a whole lot of work to be done. I think the future is going to be super bright for all of you and your students, Doctor. So I really want to thank all of you for coming on the show, taking the time to join us today. And if anybody's listening to this, get involved, right? They need supplies. They need any resource you can give them. Crane folks, listen, I know you crane folks watch my show. Maybe somebody can donate a crane once a quarter or something and do a crane course. I think that'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Who wouldn't want to run a crane? You guys want to run cranes? Not little ones. Let's do big ones, Let's have some fun with it. Well,
I would love to have a crane for the prefab setting, those ones that goes above the head,
Yeah.
And we have a big lab here, we have space for that.
Yeah. What is it that you do need, Doctor? What kind of support are you looking for out there? I mean, you got Timber HB and others.
Yeah, other than crane, material wise, we still want to, looking for, making a full scale home.
Yeah.
That would be awesome because, Jonas mentioned that we have community here. We do have, especially post Hurricane Helene, we do have a lot of communities that, need us to help them.
Sure.
And this program is I would say the student group, these are the assets, intellectually and professionally for future of, shaping the communities. I think that's in that regard, I would say building a full home and like full scale home. That's one thing. And utilizing a lab, we definitely appreciate, that the crane sets for the, I would say, construction manufacturing setting, but also we want to equip our lab with a bigger CNC machine that we can cut and fabricate our CLTs in the future.
Absolutely. We always need bigger toys. Come on. That's just the way the world works, right? I know how this goes. Love it. Love it. All right. Let's give a couple quick shout outs here. The people I think you will find very interesting. Will Leverett. I don't know if you know Will. It's been in this space for a long time. He says, congratulations, future mass timber leaders. I will tell you now that these two people I'm about to show you, you definitely want to go on LinkedIn and introduce yourself to them. Any of you out there heard of the National Association of Home Builders?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, here's the past chair, Greg Ugaldi. Greg is the guy that updates President and Secretary of Housing many times for the National Association of Home Builders. He says, DC Live, ASU's program is very impressive. So make sure you introduce yourself to Greg as well. He knows a lot of people. So anyhow, listen, you got people watching this that care. Even people at the very top, like Greg and Will. So, Don't be shy. Use LinkedIn to your advantage, all of you out there, because there's a lot of people that need young great minds like yourself. So, Doctor, thank you so much for allowing us to come into your classroom today.
Thank you so much for the chance to to introduce the program and these the minds, the beautiful minds of future construction industry.
Beautiful minds. I love it. We should have called the show that, the beautiful minds of the construction industry. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. I'll come back to you after my outro. But for the rest of you out there, guess what? It's Monday. We still got 4.5 days to keep building it better, unless you like to work the weekends, which I do not. I like to enjoy my family. But outside of that, let's keep working on how we build it bigger, better, more sustainable, healthier, and affordable, or attainable, whatever the word is today, so we can all move on and everybody can have a place to live. I'm Dave Cooper. We are at Appalachian State University. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you on Wednesday. Be well. What an amazing show. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us to continue to bring all of these innovative conversations to all of you out there. Please visit them, see what they have to offer you. And as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring that bell. It would mean the world to us. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching.